How's it going, YouTube? It's Nomad TCG here, and today I'm bringing you guys a live deck profile of my Fairy Lightsworn deck, otherwise known as Krystya Turbo. So I think this is probably one of my favorite decks to play in Edison format. I really enjoy the concept of Lightsworn, even if it's not the best deck. It's just a lot of fun to play. You got a lot of cool monsters that do a lot of cool things. I spent quite a bit of time before I uploaded this video because I wanted to try to make the deck in a high rarity as much as I absolutely could. So this is definitely going to be a very beautiful thing to view. And on top of that, I just want to say thank you guys for all the support so far. And this deck actually is card for card the list that topped. I think it was RBET Rulers, or it might have been RBET 5, but didn't want to change anything for the sake of the video. Just wanted to show it in its natural purest state. So here we go. So to start, we got our starters, which is 3 Super Nimble Mega Hamster, which fetches your 3 copies of Raikou. This card's just really good opener. It mills, which is what you want it to do. It also pops a card, gets around back row, gets around problem monsters, and it trades just very well in turn 1, because you're basically able to keep your opponent behind. So really enjoy maxing on that part. And then we play 3 Lila. So if you don't open one of these guys to set, summoning this backed up by like Orange Light or Honest is super phenomenal, because you're going to kill their monster with the Honest or with the Orange Light, and then you can switch your Lila and pop one of their back rows if they choose to set any. So it kind of discourages them from playing the game, which is always a nice thing to do. Then other Lightsworns, we play Lumina. Do not have the CP one, so if you know anyone or any of you guys have one, preferably in English, let me know. I'm trying to find one. And then Jane, Aaron, Arcus, and Shire. So these are pretty much the other Lightsworns that we play. They're all good. They all each do a different thing. I think Arcus is really strong and underrated. This card, you can summon it and it can literally be so huge if you do it in like the mid game to late game. This gets around those annoying like defense position monsters and recruiters and stuff. And then these cards are just good. This one gets pretty big attack boost. And then this obviously brings back any Lightsworn. It's phenomenal. That's why it's at 1. And then the last Lightsworn name we play is Celestia, which we only play 2 copies. There could be an argument for playing more of these, but this card's really good because it pops 2 cards. It's like Gladiator Beast Gazaris. You just have to sack a Lightsworn monster, which if you set Hamster and they attack your Hamster, it's going to set your Raikou. And then on your turn, you can flip up your Raikou, pop like their back row or whatever, and then sack for Celestia. So you end up destroying 3 cards off that, which is really nice. And then for the boss monsters of the deck, this is everyone's favorite part. So we play 3 Archlord Krystya. This card is hands down probably the best boss monster. I mean, it has to be like up there. And the other thing is we play Judgment Dragon. So I think these are probably like, these gotta be like the top 2 boss monsters in Edison. Dark Arm's really good too. So I'd say like those 3 are the best ones. They're just insane. You know, this locks your opponent out of special summoning, and then this gets to nuke everything. And you can use priority with that. So it's just so absurd. Usually you're going to Gold Sark for one of these, just depending on the hand or scenario. Most of the time it's Judgment Dragon just to try to close out the game and win. Because you'll probably get this live before you get this live, because this can be a little bit trickier depending on like your hand and all of that. Yeah, those cards they make this deck. And then we play 3 Soul of Purity and Light. So this card helps like manipulate your graveyard by banishing fairies, or just like, you know, because you can kind of pick if you want to banish 1 fairy or 2 fairies, because this just takes light monsters to banish. So you can banish either a Lightsworn, or you can just straight up banish 2 fairies to get down to 4, whatever you want to do. So this card helps a lot with graveyard manipulation, and it's kind of beefy, so helps you play through just, you know, instead of just 1 normal summon for the turn. So card's nice. And then hand trap wise, we play 3 Herald of Orange Light, of course. This is insane. No deck that doesn't play fairy cards can abuse this. So it's kind of very specific to like fairy-oriented decks or decks that are on Krystya. So I really think this card's phenomenal. You know, you can kill Raikou with this. You can kill like Dark Grepher with this. You can kill Stratos. Even bigger monsters, you can kill Judgment Dragon and Dark Armed. I have hit so many Dark Arms with this card. Then we play 2 copies of Honest. This is, again, very unfair card, honestly. Because, like, it's like, how do you deal with it? I mean, you either have to try to bait it or just let it happen. It's really, like, you know when this is in your opponent's hand, especially when your life starts to get, like, on the lower end, you just know you're going to die. There's really nothing you can do to prevent it. Mind Crush is about the only card that deals with this effectively. And then we play Plague Spreader and Card Trooper for the last monsters. This is just a good generic tuner. It's level 2, and then Card Trooper also helps us mill. When it dies, it draws a card, so goes with the game plan. It can run stuff over, and you get something out of it when it dies. So super phenomenal card, even though it's not a Lightsworn. And spell cards, play Triple Solar Recharge. This gets so much going for you. Most of the time when you activate one, you end up seeing the others, so most of the time you're drawing and milling a lot of cards, which is super nice. You may notice there's no Wolf in this deck. I mean, this, again, wasn't necessarily my build, but Wolf is just not a great card. The only thing you really like it for is, if it's in your hand, is using this. Otherwise, it's just a brick. The mill is cool. It's a beefy guy, but most of the time, it doesn't do much for you. And then we play 2 Gold Sarcophagus and Charge. So oftentimes you will Gold Sarc for JD or Krystya or this. Yeah, if you have like a weird hand and you can't really get anything started, but you have like Krystya or Judgment Dragon, you're probably gonna charge or Gold Sarc for Charge, just so you can start getting stuff going. I will say though that like if you have to do this, it's one of those games where you're kind of playing from behind. Most of the time, you'll be able to have the milling. You just have to Gold Sarc for your big guys, and then you put your opponent on a clock, and you know that in 2 turns they're probably dying, which happens like all the time, honestly. And then we are playing 2 Beckoning Light and Call the Haunted for the traps. So this allows you to fix your hand. It allows you to manipulate the grave, so you can get back a Krystya that is going to be live. You can get back a Judgment Dragon that's going to be live. You can get back Honest and Orange Light. You can get back stuff like Lumina, Lila, Raikou, whatever you want. This card's phenomenal in this build. And pure Lightsworn I don't like as much because you're really just trying to get Judgment Dragon and maybe Honest back to your hand, but you have a lot more options with this deck, so really enjoy this card. Then Call the Haunted is self-explanatory. If you mill Krystya, you bring it back. Yeah, what does your opponent do? And then for the extra deck, we play Chimera Tech. I don't have a side deck, prepped for this, but it's pretty self-explanatory. It's for Cyber Dragon, machine decks. Armory Arm, you can make it with Raikou and Plague or Raikou and Orange Light. Catastor, Brio. You honestly make 6s a lot in this deck because, like, a lot of your guys are 4s, so you summon the Orange or the Plague. Goyo, and then Tempest Magician. Pretty cool, you can make that in this deck, and this can burn your opponent for game. Black Horse Dragon. Avenging Knight Parshath, this card really solid and strong. Again, you can take, if your opponent's trying to play a little bit defensively, you can take stuff and switch to attack and then get more damage in. This card helps you OTK, just go for game. It's kind of absolutely wild. And then Ancient Fairy Dragon, the reason we play this is to pop cards like Necro Valley, because that does actually hurt this deck. So if we play against like a Gravekeeper deck, we have it. And then we play Stardust, of course, for an 8. Colossal for another 8. Thought Ruler, this helps against like cards like Deep Prison, so I think it's necessary. Then Red Dragon Archfiend. I play this because it's 3k and it's an 8-star, so you can make it to like crash with Judgment Dragon. Also, against like the Frog decks, this is pretty nice to have. So they put a bunch of stuff in defense. And then we play Mistworm. It's just a level 9. It's something you can make not all the time, but sometimes, and you can bounce your opponent's field and go for game. So super convenient. But yeah, guys, that is the deck. I hope you enjoyed looking at all these nice cards. Fairy Lightsworn's amazing, but get ready for me to return to my original content, and I will probably, I'm trying to think of the next actual deck profile I have for you guys. It'll probably be like a frog deck or a regular fairy deck. I know I originally uploaded one when I started the channel, but a lot has changed since then. Edison has grown, the meta's changed, so probably be doing another fairy deck profile in the future. But all right, guys, thanks for watching. Nomad out. Peace.